Watch and burn.
Hey everyone. So tonight I want to discuss Basil Poledouris' score for Paul Verhoeven's absolutely perfect film, Robocop. And I'm going to attempt to sort of fight the urge to discuss the movie just as much as the score here, because growing up, Robocop was like my number one go-to movie. Like that and Blade Runner, I think, as far as like movies that I thought were incredibly fun. I think the thing, one of my favorite things about this score is how maybe Verhoeven and Poledouris decided to take a page out of Lucas's playbook, because back when he was doing the first Star Wars, all like spacey sci-fi movies at that point were using more of a disco score, because of course disco music at that point was huge. So, you know, you got the people in fucking Logan's Run dodging the bad guys to the fucking Bee Gees, and George Lucas felt that that was sort of the wrong direction to take with Star Wars, that he wanted his film to have like a more of a serious tone to it, maybe like allowing this story that would unfold endlessly, might I add, over the next 4 or so decades. Because, oh God, Star Wars, it's a fucking cultural icon that has long since overstayed its welcome, you know? But anyways, yeah, Lucas decided to go with a classical score over a disco score, and I know that this caused a few problems for him, because everybody at the studio had wanted his little space movie to go with the popular music. And it was a wise choice going with classical, because it did give Star Wars a greater sense of seriousness, and it seemed to give the overall story like a greater sense of scale and respect. And so I wonder if Verhoeven and Poledouris here on this, if they decided if whether or not they, you know, if maybe they decided to go with a classical score for Robocop based off Lucas's choice to go with a classical score, for Star Wars. I don't really know, but I will say Poledouris' score going totally classical for a movie that is so clearly like one of the heaviest, most science fiction-y cyberpunk movies ever made, and refraining from putting any kind of like electronic music anywhere near this is a massive feat unto itself, because even though as of now I can't picture Robocop without its classical score, I suppose at the same time, had they used some really inventive electronic elements in with it, it would have complemented things really well. But I can't seem to wrap my head around that, because whereas on one hand I do agree that it would sound cool, I absolutely love this score so much. It elevates this movie. Like, you know, like the end credits, like, you know, when he's like, "Hey son, what's your name?" and he's like, "Murphy," and then it's like the score sweeps in, and because it's classical has that remarkable ability to actually sweep in. It's one of the few types of music that can actually sort of make that kind of entrance. Oh, lost a light. And this pulls it off so well, and I'm so impressed with this, because using classical with such a heavy science fiction film, it's like there's this juxtaposition, and I know juxtaposition is not a word. There's no way that juxtaposition is a word, but that's exactly what's going on here. Is there's that sense of juxtaposing. Juxtaposing isn't a word either, and I like that. I like how classical music shouldn't fit here, and yet classical music fits so perfectly here that once the two have been married off together, you can't separate them anymore. It's like, oh Jesus, I lost another light. I'm losing lights here, so I'm gonna have to speed this up. I don't know. I can't stress how much I love the fact that they went with a classical score for a movie that a classical score should not have fit in with at all. And it does work. Robocop it has so much, I don't know, it just elevates the movie. It makes the movie pretty much untouchable. Because as if the violence and the story and the overall concept of Robocop wasn't grandiose enough, like it wasn't massive enough. And then when you add the classical score in, it really drives home the seriousness of the message that this movie is attempting to make about where society is heading. And because of the classical score, it does it with such class, I guess. It's a good word to use. But yeah, so I'm losing lights here, so I'm going to go. So thank you so much for hanging out with me while I discussed Basil Poledouris' absolutely perfect score for the absolutely perfect Paul Verhoeven film, Robocop. Like always, if you liked this review, don't forget to do something nice for somebody. And I'm going to get out of here before I'm completely in the dark. Have a good night. I just wanted to say thank you for making it through the entire video. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to remind everyone one more time, even though I've probably already done this in the video that you just watched, to please click the like button as well as the subscribe button because it helps this channel grow. And thank you for hitting like and subscribe, and we will see you guys really soon.